environment. Look, people talked about there is no need for journalists anymore because AI can write articles now, right? There is no need for content writers anymore. Look, you can try having an AI as your content writer, right? It's completely, they will give you and the whole personalization, Naidbai was.
Um,
Mhm.
it's the it's called the hard work and perseverance. Rule number one. You have to love the business. You have to be happy in the business. You have to be happy with servicing the clients. You have to acquire knowledge every day to be there for your buyers and sellers, and you have to love the business.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alamgir, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's podcast. Joining me are two amazing guests from the fields of real estate and finance, and we'll be discussing the impact of artificial intelligence and how we can best prepare ourselves to utilize it effectively. First, Nahid Mollah. He's someone I have known for over 20 years, a real estate expert with decades of experience, having closed countless multi-million dollar deals across the boroughs. While his main focus is in residential real estate, he is no stranger to commercial transaction and he currently owns his own brokerage serving private clients. His wealth of knowledge in real estate market is truly unmatched. And of course, our other guest, Ismail Ahmed, who I have also known for more than 20 years, has built a distinguished career in banking and is now the CEO and founder of fintech company called Irecom, which specializes in commercial lending primarily. His experience and insight in finance and lending make him a valuable voice in today's transaction. And both of these guests bring immense expertise in their respective fields, and I'm incredibly privileged to have them with us today. But before we dive in, feel free to add more about your journey or any key points you would like our listeners to know. So today's podcast is sponsored by DH Architect, which is led by Dilara Hussain. They specialize in luxury single-family homes, whether building from scratch or redesigning. DH Architect, where creativity meets purpose in crafting your dream home. You can get more information at dilarahussain.com. And now back to the show. Thank you so much for coming and joining this conversation. All right, so let's start. How
Thanks
are
for
you
having
both?
us.
Well, we're great. We call it a New York morning. It's excellent. I am, just to give it a little background of what I do. I sell real estate. I'm a real estate broker by profession, and I cover all of the five boroughs and Long Island as well. So from the east to the west, right? And I have two beautiful kids. They're a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old. She's actually turning 17.
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky to be married to the same woman for the last 27 years.
Congratulations.
And she is a tough lady. She is doing marathons. She takes great care of the kids. She's my backbone of my house and of my life as well. And child rearing is a great opportunity. We have a child who's also, I always tell this to people who have a special needs child. I say, listen, you're doing a great job. It's not an easy life. And in between all of that, we are providing service to the clients and our forefront of the business. And we improve and we have customer reactions and clients service. We are in the client service industry. And we bring a lot of expertise into this field of real estate, as I've been doing for the last 20 years, over 300 transactions. And we want to make sure that our client knows us. Our client knows me, because sometimes it's so big, the real estate. And we want to make sure that what kind of services we are providing to the client is more than age, with this interreactive age. We want to get that out as well. And thank you for bringing us to that podium for this podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. It's amazing. Ismail Bhai, would you like?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thanks for having me. Delighted to be here with you bringing me in your podcast with someone like Nahid Bhai with so much of experience and insights. So it's really good to be here. I mean, for my background, you have mentioned it over 22 years in of finance background in various verticals of credit and real estate financing and different banking sectors, wide spectrum of debt and equity financing experience along with banking experience. Left banking world in 2022 and started my own brokerage firm with focus on utilizing technology to kind of start up the whole industry because commercial real estate in particular is still, as we like to call it, in dinosaur age when it comes to technology. There are still a lot of, handwritten documents get passed around. There are still, we still see leases, contracts, applications that are handwritten. There are a lot of manual decision making and underwriting. So one of my goals is to utilize technology to kind of streamline some of those, make the process easier. I wanted to address some of the cliches that we know within the industry. There is a common misconception. Well, it's actually true conception that it takes a long time for a commercial deal to close. So when we looked at the reasoning behind it, that was one of my pet peeves when I was a lender for banks, was that a lot of those issues were really could have been mitigated. It's just the delays are because there are a lot of manual touch points and a lot of manual work and decision making. So I've always thought about utilizing technology if this can minimize. And what we have done so far on a typical application stage on a commercial real estate from starting to end, we were by utilizing very small aspects of technology, which we'll get into later. We were able to minimize the timing to 25 to 30%, and just by cutting out redundancies, just by cutting out some layers of verification. So those are things that we are kind of developing. We are trying to get to a point where we create a platform that's going to be available for other brokers like ourselves, and eventually for the lenders. So that's what we are working on. And yeah, it's been a fun ride for the last couple of years.
Amazing. So I mean, both of you have more than 20 years of experience in your own field, and that is not to take lightly. And we would get into more of finance and real estate and how those deals are done in New York, and getting those inside information from you guys is going to be great. So, but I want to share one thing just to kick off this conversation about that AI that we're thinking. And I will share a screen, and I'll show you a video. So I just want you to listen to this, and then we'll react to it.
But I thought it'd be great to talk to you, given where you sit in the world, as AI is on the brink of and is actively changing the world. Obviously, you founded Google with Larry in 1998, and recently it's been reported that you've kind of spent a lot more time at Google working on AI. I thought maybe, and a lot of industry analysts and pundits have been kind of arguing that LLMs and conversational AI tools are kind of an existential threat to Google search. That's one of the, and I think a lot of those people don't build businesses or they have competitive investments, but we'll leave that to the side. But there's this big kind of narrative on what's going to happen to Google and where's Google sitting with AI. So, and I know you're spending a lot of time on it. So thanks for coming to talk about it. How much time are you spending at Google? What are you working on?
Yeah, honestly, like pretty much every day. I mean, like I'm missing today, which is, one of the reasons I was a little reluctant, but I'm glad I came. But I think as a computer scientist, I've never seen anything as exciting as all of the AI progress that's happened the last few years. Thanks. No, but it's kind of mind-blowing. When I went to grad school in the 90s, AI was kind of like a footnote in the curriculum almost. Oh, maybe you have to do this one little test on AI. We tried all these different things. They don't really work. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And then somehow miraculously, all these people who were working on neural nets, which was one of the big discarded approaches to AI in like the 60s, 70s, and so forth, just started to make progress. A little bit more compute, a little more data, a few clever algorithms. And the thing that's happened in this last decade or so is just amazing as a computer scientist. Like every month, well, all of you, I'm sure, use all of the AI tools out there, but like every month there's like a new amazing capability, and I'm like probably, doubly wowed as everybody else is that computers can do this. And so, yeah, for me, I really got back into the technical work because I just don't want to miss out on this as a computer scientist.
Is it an extension?
So that's Sakabin, and then we have. I also want to share this information before start the conversation. See, there recently came out in a Wall Street Journal that these companies, along with Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon, they this year alone they spent more than 45, like close to 43 billion dollars, and they have been doing it since 2020. And these are only 4 top companies, and forget about all the other companies that are investing in AI technology. Now we haven't seen anything as a consumer. I'm sure we are just in the beginning stage. They are seeing it much in deeper level. So they are in macro, we are in more of a micro level. So now the question is that what do you think is happening? And can you guys share a little bit of what you're seeing in your own respective field?
Ishmael, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, look, as far as the progress in AI, it's just undeniable. As far as a lot of the talk about the capacity, I mean, it's debatable, but has it become a part of everyday life? Absolutely. It's particularly in my example, we have created a basically an AI agent that works as assistants, right? So where I have quite a few, and it's just because of limitations. They talked about the LLM limitations or whatnot. I mean, you cannot have one assistant and as a human, like you would want to teach that person a lot of things, right? So here you have to break it down. So I'll give an example. I have one agent who is trained to read contracts. So anytime a contract comes in, that I just copy and paste it there, and it will give me exactly what the key points are, or identifies any issues. So it saves me a lot of time because I don't have to go through review a contract now. Same thing when it comes to leases. I have an AI that basically reading, because some of the commercial leases can be 50, 60 pages and with a lot of mumbo jumbos. But, always certain lenders are looking for some key conditions or limitations, so once we train, and that's the part it takes a little time is to train them, it's able to do that. So these are my everyday thing basically we are doing. Also, one other thing that I'm trying to replicate myself, particularly when it comes to the initial conversation, right? So I spend about pretty much most of my day. I go through scenarios. I get phone calls where, hey, I'm looking at this property. Can you tell me if this loan can be done? What kind of rate I can expect? This is a very common. It doesn't mean that by taking this phone call doesn't mean that this deal is going to happen, right? It's an inquiry level. I have to answer it because you are my client, so I have to answer it. I have to spend some time talking about it, and then along the line, maybe we start discussing a few other things. So I end up maybe sometimes 30-40 minutes just discussing a scenario that will never result in anything. So now I have an AI component that learns how I respond, what how I speak, how I interact, what kind of responses I do. So now instead of you calling me and saying that, hey, Ismail, I'm looking to buy this mixed use building in Jersey City, it's half vacant. I want to put my grocery store there. My credit is okay. What should I expect, right? And it could be simple. You can just pick up the phone and talk to my Griffin app, which is we are in the beta stage. Hopefully, we can share, by that on our next podcast. We can share a demo on that. You can speak just like the way you would speak to me, and then it would have a conversation with you as if I would have the conversation. And towards the end, it will give you some sort of the way I would end the conversation with you, that hey, yes, this loan can be done. This is what you can expect. I need A, B, C, and D. So that will save up a lot of my time. So this is just on my personal level that we are working on, which is pretty significant, right? In general, industry wide, there are a lot of changes. Nothing yet that um, you know, will have an existential crisis. For example, there is nothing yet that will say, oh my God, this covers everything, so there is no need for someone like me anymore, or there is no need for an underwriter. There is no there is always those component. It's just making all of us, if the underwriters using AI, it's making their life better. They're making them more efficient. So far this has been the biggest you know I would say the importance, or the work of AI that's basically making people more efficient. And it's just throughout, pretty much all the industries, but in real estate in a particular, the problem in my world in commercial, deals are unique. Every buildings have different story and unique. So it's very difficult to create enough information for the AI to start spitting out results, right? Like in residential, because the law, I'm talking about financing side of it, because there is a chart, there is an approval method. You can move 60% of the file at a lightning speed because there is enough data, and AI can make pretty accurate suggestion. In my end, I mean, if I have a building in New York City, each, there are thousands of buildings, but they're all unique. Their square footage different, their tenancy is different, their classes are different. Now, for me to get a right assumption for a Class B office building in New York City, I have to have at least few 100,000 of similar data, which is not possible because we don't have few 100,000 of the similar buildings. So these are the challenges that we are seeing, but it's just definitely making
So,
people
so,
more
so,
efficient.
so you think that AI is not a threat to commercial real estate in any way? It will enhance more of what either the lender or the real estate personnel doing, not necessarily take away the middleman from it. Is that the right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I don't think it's an existential crisis for any um, you know, organizations or any industry. There are some, okay, maybe debatable, if there are, maybe the truckers will go out of business if all the trucking becomes, electric or, self-driving cars. But in professional environment, look, people talked about there is no need for journalists anymore because AI can write articles now, right? There is no need for content writers anymore. Look, you can try having an AI as your content writer, right? It's completely, they will give you and the whole personalization, Naid Bhai was touching on it earlier, that, there is some sort of connection. AI is completely missing that. And now for AI to be like me, there's got to be, hundreds of thousands of people that think like me, act like me, speak like me, for them to be replacing me. That's not, we are all unique. So that part, my uniqueness will remain. And if my uniqueness have value, and that's the key now, whatever your niche and uniqueness is, and it doesn't have to be number related or certain type of, I just know how to calculate debt service ratio better than anybody else. That's not it. It's just that what other value, what uniqueness you are bringing. That if you identify that, if you stay true to that, and everything else AI can do, you'll still be in the market doing phenomenally well. It's just the people that are not going to be using it efficiently, right, will probably find themselves will fall below the people that are performing at a higher level by utilizing it.
All right. Thank you again. Wonderful information for sharing. Thank you very much, Ismail. So if we talk about AI, if we talk about real estate in general, right? So we're talking about real estate in general. First of all, you have the clients, right? They're the customers. They're on the other side of the bridge, and you're on the, it's bridging the gap and bringing them to a buy or crossing the line to make sure the transaction is complete. How does it help the buyer? How does it help the customer? So there's a lot of uses on AIs, client-facing, buyer-facing. You're improving the interaction at a speed of light. So the worries, first of all, you're thinking about the consumer is thinking about asking you a question which can be answered by AI. And it cuts down the time of the interaction. That is the biggest thing. And it takes their worries away. When you're buying a home, it's the biggest investment of your life. We keep saying this like a repetitive, but it is the biggest investment of one's life in America. It's the biggest purchase that you're making. So when you have worries, when you can position AI to ease the minds of those purchases. You can position the AI to make the consumer a better decision for the customers, because now you are giving datas that are readily available to the buyer, which you had to obviously, our way of communication was by an email or a phone call. Phone call was the biggest personal communication when you're not in a meeting with them. So you're making those calls through where ChatGPT or machine learning, what you say, LLMs, language learning. So you're taking off the worries and settling the minds of that buyer, calming them down to prove, is this a good home for them? Does this home have everything else that they need for them? Is this the right neighborhood for them? Simple questions. Do they have the right mortgage application? Who should they go to? All of these things can be done, suggesting properties to them. All of this can be on the machine learning, right? It has been used as predictive marketing, and they're finding matches and with other platforms they're doing it right now. But we are talking about a different level of interaction. Now, that's one part where the consumer is being enlightened and making better decisions through the interaction of a realtor. And it is the realtor's experience that is actually going out there and talking to them. You don't have to talk to them at 2:00 a.m. if they want to talk to you at 2 a.m. at night. If those are the worries of a buyer, because they're spending a big chunk of their life savings and taking a big risk, they'll get better sleep. Let me put it like that, right? Yeah. So now the second position is how a realtor can enhance their business. Right? It can enhance their business to provide better service to them. So you're getting a client, you're servicing a client, and then you're retaining a client. I got this stuff, right? So your data is being managed properly, right? It is better for the real estate agent as well. We're humans, and we're going to forget some things. You can have an emergency, and you were supposed to make a call, and that call never happened. But always remember, there's somebody at the other end of the line. And you can pass this information, your real estate experience, your marketing, your virtual assistant, whatever they were supposed to do, your schedule maintenance, which is one of our biggest thing, your calendar management, right? So setting up appointments, showing up in open houses, interacting with clients. So all of that, agents will be better armed with technology now. The forgetfulness or there'll be ease of maintaining those clients as well. And the best thing is that you can actually create more value for yourself with an AI which you never had time for, a video blog, for example. Right? Where you're telling them what to do, right? You can give them how to maintain a home, right? So you can tell them how to read an inspection. You can tell them, where are you with your appraisals? You can tell them, they can get updates on their transactions. So it will make that realtor way better in servicing that consumer at the other end, which is our primary service that we provide to customers. I think they're going to be way happier. They're going to be their answers. They're going to be their interaction is going to be streamlined, and they're going to be making better decisions at the end of the day, hiring an attorney and buying the right property.
Great. Thank you both for answering this in a very organized way. Now, the fact is that, before it, like in 2020, 2000, when internet was kind of booming, it took about 15 years, 20 years to be able to see the scale what internet could do, right? We are in a very early stage of AI, and we are just seeing the snippet of what it can do. And as we've seen earlier, like the amount of money these companies are investing, we haven't been able to see the fruits of it yet. But this will be about crazy. We are about to get into like a craziness of the world that we haven't seen. So now the question is like, as for real estate and finance, for both of you guys are in that, how are you positioning yourself? And how can a consumer or can position themselves to, Ismail, you want to go?
Yeah, sure.
How can we position ourselves?
Look, I mean, you just got to keep adapting, right? And as I said, that for people like us that are not in the space of investing and research and analysis for RM, doing for those big companies investing billions of dollars that don't know what exactly being built in that machine. For us, look, I mean, I think the starting point for most individual would be to, if you just follow the updates on ChatGPT, you see how quickly it's advancing, right? It needs to be a part of your day. I think if that's your starting point, you have some sort of in within that circle of what's coming, because you kind of get a sense of like where things are going. As I said, like for us, in my particular industry, in my situation, my ultimate goal would be to create a platform that can literally replace myself, right? And that's what I'm shooting for. I'm trying to figure out a way that, okay, how can I create a platform that where there is no need for someone like me, right? Um, so I keep that in my mind, right? Okay, if that happens, what are the things that will need to happen? And I see some of the challenges that are not an immediate fix. Maybe 10 years down the road, or 5 years down the road, the system, the AI, or will have a way to come up with assumptions that are accurate or what have you. But until that point, there are limitations. So I'm not concerned so much about that. I'm just trying to figure out, trying to understand, not trying to stay one step ahead. I'm just trying to figure out what step is coming that I need to be prepared for. And as I said, like just by if you just stay up to date for everyone, I think regardless of industries, and especially in real estate industries, you need to be aware of this, because you don't want to get caught off guard. I mean, we have seen there are people, real estate agents, utilizing, very small aspect of simple chat GPT, just by upgrading their content on social media. All of a sudden their sales going up, right? So we are seeing those people that are using, people that are staying on top of that, how it's benefiting them. So obviously the beneficial factor is there. I think the focus for us, people like us at least, instead of thinking about, oh my God, what's the worst can happen, our thinking is to like, okay, what how can we position ourselves so when so that we don't get caught or off guard, that we don't wake up one day and be like, wow, a lot has changed overnight, because that's when you will be like, okay, that's when you'll feel the pressure, and you'll fall into that category. So I think that's important for everybody, whether you are a consumer, or you are in certain businesses, you are in real estate. Everybody from agents to title company to attorneys to I mean, speaking of attorneys, I mean, I see them being replaced very quickly, because contracts, you can create a model of contracts, you can create a model of what they do. It's a repetitive things that they're doing, right? So anything, but still, if you're an attorney, you need to be aware of what's happening. What are the things can be automated, that can be taken away from you, right? And if it happens, if you have 30-day time to figure out that, okay, it's happening, what should you be doing, right? So those are important topic for everyone to basically ponder on at this point in our life, where all this change, and the change is happening. Change will happen, it will come. Some of the changes will happen rather quickly, some of them will take some time. You just have to put yourself that, okay, as a and don't get bogged down by what Elon Musk is saying, or Sergey Brin is talking about this, hundreds of $billions we are investing, because we have no idea what they're investing in. So what we can control, we can see, is what we are reading, what we are talking, what ChatGPT is, because those are the things that we have. A lot of AI tools that are out there, right, that are doing a lot of things, right? Like, I mean, I created a whole training module off of AI for my originator. So, things like that will definitely continue. And I think, the changes it's going to happen.
So adoption is the most
Adoption is the key.
yeah, like as a human being, we adopt. Like we have
Right,
four
right, right.
seasons. We naturally adopt, right?
Right. It's like,
I
if you know winter is coming, you do certain things. You don't
Right.
wait until, like, in 1st of February and be like, wow, it's really cold, So that's just the way it is.
Wear a
Right.
t-shirt in February.
Right, 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 right. So
Some crazy people do, but you adopt.
there will
So
always be people like that, but we are not in that. So
Nice, please.
Yes. So you ended on adaptive, right? First of all, what we have to look at is consumer behaviors. What our customers are doing. What is the Gen Z going to do? So we're not here for the short run of this business, right? We're going to help every single segments of the business, from baby boomers to the Gen Zs, or before, right? So when I started real estate, very early on, we were looking at books to look at listings and calling the agents, and that was very, 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 very short time. And then the MLS went into the internet age, and now we're seeing listings, oh my God, online. And there was one computer in the office, and a bunch of guys, we used to take turns and try to get how slow things were, right? And how little our income was, because the slower the things, you're going to make less, interactions, less leads, less processing, less closings. So, we had the internet, and then the MLS blew up, and people were, looking at, we were able to provide more choices for the consumers and the customers and the clients. And then that was the buying and list and bring more offers. So the sellers actually benefited a lot, and the prices keep going up, and it's just a trend, right? Now the next generation came in, and then they wanted everything and then finger snaps, and we have the portal. But now, you see all those data, they're compiling all those data and trying to the consumers, the buyers and sellers now were knowledgeable as much as the agents who didn't have much experience. They're just going out and putting them in their car and trying to sell a listing, right? Then comes AI. And if you don't adapt, and if you don't ease the mind of your buyers, and if you don't inform them of a decision-making, and if you don't inform them of this social media age where everything is interactive we call it the happiness button, right? You click it and you get your information and you're very happy. we have to survive that trend. And we have to adapt to that trend, and we have to make us the foremost intelligent decision makers to help our buyers. We have to be the experts in the field to tell them how they will benefit from our services. So that is very important. So if until and unless we do that, it like we'll be like the dinosaur. We don't want to be like the dinosaur. We want to be at the cutting edge of it. And so AI is very important. Like I said from the beginning, it will only make things better for the real estate industry. There's one thing I will keep saying through the entire presentation is that there is no replacement for the real estate agent, because at the end of the day, there is that walkthrough, and there's that human touch, and then there's that sales, which is why I always say it, to bring the buyer from across the line and to make that very important decision of their life, and make it their family life where they will grow their family and they'll make their, or it could be their investment. So we have to be present at that point to make them that decision. It is not a replacement of that real estate agent, but it is a process of giving them better information, more info, and at the right time, the right comparative market analysis, the right CMAs, the right titles, the right banking, which is very important, the right mortgage loan for their property, and obviously moving them into the property. So from day one, when they start the search to handing them the keys, I think AI is going to make that experience, which was very, very stressful, a lot streamlined for that buyer.
That's great. That's amazing. I mean, I have so many questions because you guys are in that field for many years, and we could take so much from it. But I want to ask Naidbai specifically to you this question. You've been in the real estate industry for more than 20 years, and what the barrier to entry in real estate industry is very easy. But surviving is the hardest. And it's only market kind of gets the best one out, and whoever is able to adopt and utilize all aspect of it can survive. So Gib, how did you survive this many years, and what is the secret behind it?
It's called the hard work and perseverance. Rule number one. You have to love the business. You have to be happy in the business. You have to be happy with servicing the clients. You have to acquire knowledge every day to be there for your buyers and sellers. And you have to love the business. That's the most important thing. Is the 80-20 rule. If you don't progress, you die, right? If you don't process it. So it is the happiness from coming to the office at the end of the day, to be able to handle and be a great problem solver. A lot of people don't like solving problems, and that's what we do. We like solving, when you're in the business for so long, right? It becomes sometimes it becomes cumbersome. Sometimes it becomes, you become deflated. Sometimes you become worried because, at the beginning of the day, one of our brokers used to say, you're unemployed every day. Unemployed every day. You're going to the office trying to get a client to sign up with you and trust you and believe you and give the home of their entire life for you to sell it, to make them a profit or make them to move from one place to another. So it's a very tiring job. It is a long job, and people, you have to work weekends. Right, you have to have supportive partners who help you throughout those weekends. Your vacation time, it is very important. So those time management skills are very important. A lot of people who cannot. Unfortunately, a real estate industry has, if you can go and check it out, has a big percentage of separation between families because they don't know how to manage all of this time. or don't know when to take time off for the family to have. So it's very important, time management. It's very important how you maintain your income, because like I said, right, every morning, every day you're going unemployment to go and call those people and find your next client, right? Because you have to fill up your pipeline. So you have to have dedication. You have to have you have to gather skills, and you have to love the business.
So I love the business. Yeah, that's definitely the most people that I hear about in successful. That's what they say. You have to love the business. You cannot fake it, right? So only for only for a little time. Now, Ismail Bhai, I mean, you also been in the, as long as I know, you've been in the banking industry. And what would you say about that? You know, you lasting it that long, and where is the plus and negative, and how do you overcome those?
Saying that everything is basically perception, right? I mean, for me, um, I I didn't get into banking or real estate because I loved it, right? I came into it because it was a path that that was I didn't choose. It just chose me because came out of college as an immigrant. You got to do what you got to do. You find a job in banking. You're like, yay, that's great. You go into banking. There are certain things I don't like, certain things I do like. I focus on the stuff that I like. When I first started on the investment side, I liked the money part. I didn't like the work part of it. Then when I came into the retail side of the banking, I realized that I don't like the banking side of the business, but I like the people side of the business. Then came to the real estate side. I was like, wow, I like both real estate because it's a tangible. You can touch it, feel it. You can go visit a building. Everybody has a different story. Every building has a story. Every tenant, So I kind of developed myself into liking it. And but I always stay vigilant about not to get myself to a point where it affects me in a way that if something happens to the industry, I find myself lost, right? And I have had this experience with a couple of my friends that were in certain type of industries. They have done that for, several years. And then, something happens, whether the whole industry changed or the company went away, and they completely lost that, okay, I don't know anything else. I don't know what else can I do. So I'm always, I keep myself myself challenged in that aspect that okay, I don't want to get bogged down to a fact that that's all I know, and if a big AI machine comes in one day and I wake up and there is nothing, what happens to me? Like, so I stay vigilant on that. But yeah, I mean, enjoying what I do, and for me also, I try to find how can I make this process better. One of the biggest frustration working in banks, I work in big banks, small banks, you know, the bureaucracy and a lot of, because of the regulatory and various issues, the changes are very, very limited. And, like I would always find the whole technology part of it, right? When I was originating loans, I would see that there are weeks that are going in just because someone went away, someone wasn't on their desk, and one of the decision maker wasn't available, and I'm just like, wait, how does it, that shouldn't be the consumers, it shouldn't be my customers problem, right? There's got to be a way, then I look at on the residential side, a lot of things are moving because they have desktop underwriting, they have quick approval things, and like up to certain point, things move fairly quickly. So I'm like, look, I mean, there's got to be a better way for us to do that where and I also want to get paid quicker, so why not? So I'm always looking for those type of avenues. I'm I really enjoy the real estate industry in general, but I'm always looking into different ways I can make myself better. I'm always learning about different things. I have past couple of months was a little bit short time for me, so I went out and I got my sales license that I really didn't need, or I don't know what to do with it. I went out and got my NMLS license, which I also didn't need, but I just figured, so I just wanted to get myself, stay kind of
And they're
challenge.
driving.
Yeah, all the time.
So you keep
And
learning. That's the growth, right?
that's the growth, yeah.
Yeah.
And look, end of the day, something Naidbai mentioned at the beginning, that family, right? I mean, that's an important part. And especially since having kids, I have three boys, and that finding a time for them became my more full priorities. So I would be lying if I say real estate is my love and all that stuff. My heart, mind, everything is in the house, right? So now this is like secondary. I basically, I do it. I enjoy it. If I didn't like it, it would be very, very difficult for me to come in, leave my
Right.
family, and come here and do this, right? So I kind of keep those things in perspective. I think having that balance. Look, if someone is single, if someone is younger in their earlier age, yeah, I mean, if you're in real estate field, this is an amazing sector to build yourself. Make a name for yourself, make a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. I think that in this day and age, for someone to start to get themselves in a good, if you really, really work hard, if you don't care about weekends and night out and stuff like that, a couple of years if you put in, you can get yourself to a respectable situation, and then you just manage it, right? I think that's the key. I think knowing where the market is, knowing where what you do, kind of get like a holistic approach of what you do and where the industry is heading, where your job is heading, what are other people doing, what is technology doing, what is the regulators doing. I think having a holistic understanding is vital if somebody wants to stay successful in real estate field, regardless of what do you cover, whether you're a processor, whether you're an originator, whether you're a broker, sales agent, real estate attorney, any aspect you are touching in real estate. If you don't know what's happening, you'll get sidelined and you'll go out of business.
That's amazing. Those are amazing tips. I would say, I mean, anybody I listen to, they usually say those things like always have to adapt, always have to keep learning, and yeah, provide the service and that to the customer genuinely, so that they also feel it. And if you want to get a repeat customer, right? Yeah, Naidba, you have something? Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're doing this for your family.
Right.
And like Ishmael said, yes, he enjoys it. At the end of the day, happiness is where the home is. Happiness is where, I think I just repeated a line from somewhere. But you do this, you do certain things. Some people, but not in real estate. We do this for not only a source of providing for our family as well, but we do this for our children as well. It's not if you don't invest in real estate, you can do generational wealth with this as well, which you can transfer to your children as well. But again, at the end of the day, it's for your family, it's for your, and then you have that also gratification of that you're also doing it for other families.
Absolutely. Thank you both for giving this, coming and having this discussion. And I hope to do more of this. But before we wrap this up, I just wanted to give your information, like what service do you provide and where people can get you?
So where you can reach me, I'm very easily reachable by on my phone. You can go to nynycrealtor.com and mynycrealtor.com, and it has all my information. And I'm a phone call away. I answer my phones. If I don't, I'll answer you the next day if I'm busy. But again, like I said, the ChatGPT of the AI, it's going to do a lot of good things for you. I do have some already working over there. We will get some responses from chatbots. Don't be surprised that they might sound like me as well. And I'm sure you do as well, Ishmael. You're the forefront of it. And email me, and my phone number is 917-370-3524. I'm not afraid to give it out. Again, that's 917-370-3524. When you're selling or buying, obviously you're going to call me. I understand that I provide. I would like you to call me when you have something for sale or to buy. or just for an advice that you might have for New York City real estate and Long Island real estate, or real estate in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, Ismail, bye.
Yeah, so look, I mean, my primary responsibility, I provide financing for commercial real estate. So pretty much anywhere from anything above 4 units to, high-rise multifamilies, retail, strip center, hotel, ground-up construction, warehouse, SBA financing. So, yeah, I cover pretty much throughout the all in about 48 states. We have we are correspondent lenders with about 6 or 7 lenders that we underwrite loans on their behalf, and they do funding. And then there are about 70 different lenders that we are approved with. So yeah, I mean, wide spectrum of financing products that are available for commercial real estate. My company website is Irecom, like real estate commercial. So IRECOMM.com. My phone number again, 914-522-4989. That's my direct mobile number. I respond to calls and texts. Social medias, I'm pretty much active on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and stuff like that. Hopefully this one will find its way into one of those as well. So yeah, I mean, looking forward to if you do other shows, I would love to be a part of it. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you, Naidbhai, for your insights. It's really good to see you, and Alamgir, thank you.
It's great to see you guys. And Ismail, you're very way ahead. I haven't been on TikTok yet, but when I'm selling, those multifamilies or one-family residentials, and even your rentals, I would like to be on TikTok. You have to give me some tips on that.
Let's go. We will start with the collaboration first, and then I guess we'll start.
Yeah, we could definitely learn from each other. But again, thank you so much for coming and giving your time, especially in this busy time. And so yeah, we'll definitely catch up again. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome, and thank you for watching Alam's shows. He's doing a great job within our community and within the broad spectrum of the real estate field and finance field in general. And thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.